let's do it. And they were like, okay, well, we need to get some grants. We need to get grant. We have to get a grant writer. We have to get some money. We need to get a loan or something. I said, as soon as you do that, it's over. Game over. It's over. So I told them you can't do that because it's the game. The game's gonna be over before you even start. They didn't want to hear it. I can't get mad at them because it takes time for people to truly understand the commercial world. If you decide to learn law in the commercial world and the commercial dealings, and if you're ignorant of that, then hey, I can't argue with you. It's like arguing with a 10-year-old or 5-year-old or something, or somebody. Not
yeah. Yeah, it's standard though. When they give you money, they're not just going to give you money like that. It will come with conditions that you have to comply with. And so like they'll say, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. And if you fill out this form and you promise to comply with all these conditions I've laid down, and you actually do that, then you'll get the money. But you get the money at a cost to yourself, and it can cost you your business, as you said. So I've never gone for really funding from organizations. I never liked the idea of doing that, getting grants, getting funding. It's just, yeah, you're right. They can just control how your business falls.
Yeah. You ever watch any of those mafia movies like Godfather?
Yeah.
Or those kind of movies?
Yeah.
If the Godfather gives you anything, right? You owe him a favor.
Yeah.
You know, but he don't want the money that he gave you, right? If you respect one of them and you say, man, I need somebody to run my business, they're like, okay, all right, we'll give you $100,000. So $100,000, yeah, thank you. As soon as you take that money, they don't want the $100,000 back. They would love it if you gave it back to them. I'm not saying they don't want it back. What I'm saying is the principle in gangs and in mafias is that if you take this money, you owe me a favor. And that favor could be anything. I can send you on a murder. I said, you know, Patrick, remember that money, the $100,000 I gave you? Yeah. Well, you're taking mighty long to give it back to me, you know. You know what? F it. I don't want that money. I want you to go kill this guy right now. That's going to pay for it all. All right? And you're going to say no? Say it. Say no. Go ahead. You'll be swimming with the fishes. You'll be swimming with the fishes by noon. So you better take this gun and go do what I tell you to do so we can settle up this debt.
Yeah.
That's how it's running. It doesn't matter if it's the mafia or the government, because that's what they are. I see gang stuff when I see it, and that's it right there. That's mafia for sure. And I was always taught as a child, don't take something from somebody that you can't give it back, because you're going to end up doing outrageous tasks for it. And you don't want to be in that space. I teach my children that. You can't take things from everybody. As big as a smile might be, you can't take things from everybody. And that's what we've been doing. We've been playing around with a mafia and not realizing that they're doing gangism. When they're doing it, they don't care really about that money they gave to you. They're going to make you do strange things for that change. Micah, I see your hand up.
Yes, Grand Rising to all matriarchs and nobles. I believe I've got 3 questions, but they're pretty short. And I'd like to know if you or anyone knows where in the UCC it speaks about status with respect to nationality. And the reason why is because someone who's not too endeared with the Moors is trying to, she knows basically that you have to have a nationality, you have to have a flag and so on, and you have to have a landmass where you claim your nationality towards. But as try as I might to get her to look at the Moors, she's not endeared with them for some reason or other. Some people reckon that Moors were responsible for the downfall of mankind or humanity. So she's saying to me that there is in the UCC, with regard to status, and I know your status is very important, because that's why when you go into the courts, they see you as a lunatic or a ward of court. So, do you know, or anyone know where in the? Please. 1 minute. Can you get these children out? Please. Out, please. Come on. Out. Yeah, sorry about that, man. Girl, she's making too much noise. She's very stubborn. Right. Yes. So if we can get that as one, and also connected with that conversation as well, I went looking up for the pedigrees, but the nearest thing I got was the Encyclopedia Britannica was talking about the various different, I think it's about 7 different types of species that survived. It speaks about the European having 20% Neanderthal and various other Filipino the species that they found as well. And the third one was just something that you showed us not too long ago, was the different ethnicities of the amount of ethnicities that they have. If we can have the link for that as well, please. So yeah,
Ethnicities.
you know where they've got all the different names for different people who are whatever ethnicities.
Right.
The mulatto and all the various different ethnicities that they quoted.
I think that's called the race codes.
The race codes, okay.
Race codes. Appendix. It was H. Hold on.
These courts are what we call today as maritime courts, meaning they have nothing to do.
Appendix H, did you say?
I think so. I think it's H. Hold on 1 second.
Meaning they have nothing to do with law or common law. The governor was also known as the Lord of the
It's Appendix RR, race and ethnicity.
Race.
One of them. Hold on.
Now you might say,
Appendix.
when has a Jamaican soldier ever been deployed to fight against another country? Never.
Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who bless you.
It's Appendix E.
Appendix E, yes. Race codes. Right. Got that part.
Yeah. So yeah, Appendix E from the CDC. Everybody's familiar with the CDC, right?
This is the it's something to do with the department in America, isn't it?
Yeah.
Department. No, I'm not. It slipped my mind.
Anybody want to help him? Everybody know what CDC here is? Okay, excellent, Romy. Yes, Center for Disease Control.
Disease Control and Prevention. Yes. They were in the news quite a lot recently, weren't they?
Telling us that there's a disease jumping from ocean to ocean.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Appendix E, you got that question. The other question,
that, yes.
And the nationality.
Yeah, with regard to pedigree.
It doesn't. UCC is a commercial is the commercial codes.
Oh, that's for status. Yeah, that's for status. That's for because you have to have a standing really to be heard in court. But because we have no standing, because we haven't corrected our status, if you see
Right.
what I'm saying. So once you've corrected your status, you get standing in the courts.
Yes,
So
but
she's
UCCs though, UCCs is dealing with the commercial value or the commercial part of the estate, which is saying that the estate is either protected by a trust using the UCC statements or financial statements,
yeah.
or what's it called? The UCC is using the estate is using the UCCs to discharge a debt.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with the nationality. It has to do with the estate and the estate's affairs with other states.
Okay. Right. That's pretty clear and straightforward. The information with regard to the pedigree now, because I was trying to explain to her that we have the Roman for pedigree for the European, we have the Mancunian for the Chinese, and we have the American nationality for the Americas, and is it the Estonians?
Yeah, it's the Hindustans, the Stans,
Yes.
the Asian,
Yes.
or the Stan people, which means noble.
Yes. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
I believe you wholeheartedly with regards to the pedigree, but I'd like to be able to access that to show, that there are only 4 pedigrees. So I would like
Pedigrees, but we're all one big family,
indeed.
right? So those are the 4 pedigrees on the planet. The Europeans would be under it. They would be under hybrid albinos or Slav.
Isn't it Roman? Didn't you say Roman?
Well, we're the original Romans, but they're Slavic and they're Slav, and we've warred with them and they took over Rome.
Okay.
They took over Rome. They took over Europe on us 2022 years ago. They took over the United States. That's the hybrided albino, the amalgamated Moor. In the Bible, it talks about the amalgamation.
And you say hybrid Moor?
Yes. Or hybrid. Amalgamated Moors. Amalgamation. For those who read the Bible, what chapter is that talking? What part of the books is talking about the amalgamation?
Is Willie around?
I know. One time. Yeah, he's around.
Come on, Willie, step up, man. We want information from you, man. Come on.
Me?
See, as you said, Brother Cameron, don't throw your Bible away. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's why I said don't throw it away, because there's so much in it that's relating to what you're learning now. Right? No one's read that part? Willie? Nobody? All right. Bible readers are quiet today. Okay, we'll move on. Well, no pressure. But
Okay,
read people.
yeah, well, okay, well, I'll yield then. There was one question that sort of broke out of my head and it disappeared. But I'll leave that for now. If we have time at the end, I'll and it comes back to me, I'll mention it. So I'll yield for now. Anyway.
All right then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that, Noble. All right, David P., I see your hand up. Floor is yours.
Hi, Nobles. I think somebody more posted which section of Genesis it relates to. Also, I happen to be looking through the documents where it was talking about Appendix E race code update list. And interestingly, I decided to do a search for more, and I found it under the code 667 under some other race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, which is from 600 to 999. The Moors are under some other race listed and so on. But also there was a reference what Willie Micah L was talking about. I was recently watching a video where another noble was talking about the areas of the UCCs that seem to talk about the use of treaties. All right. And there was a particular section that he has spoken about, which is UCC 9-311, which talks about the perfection of security interests in property subject to certain statutes, regulations, and treaties. All right. So like section A, where it says that security interests subject to other law, and the other law basically talks about treaty law, and then it then goes through all of the other things. I think in this particular one, it says, except as otherwise provided in subsection D, the filing of a financing statement is not necessary or effective to perfect a security interest in a property subject to a statute, regulation, or treaty of the United States whose requirements for security interests obtaining priority over the rights of a lien creditor with respect to the property preempt of section 9 UCC 9-310. But there's a specific article, I just can't recall what it is right now. There's a specific article in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship that deals specifically with this UCC and so on. I just can't recall what it is off the top of my head, but I found it interesting. But I think what the Noble was getting at in that particular video was, once you are in your correct mind space and you know who you are and you really understand commerce and you understand the treaties, you can do a lot of things without having to use the UCCs just by enforcing the treaties and constitution.
Ashe.
Right.
Ashe. Thank you for that, Noble.
I actually found it quite interesting because what he was really getting at, and he actually went through it, was the idea where, like, most people would say that you need a lien to file a UCC-1 financing statement in order to, which is basically a lien or charge depending on the jurisdiction that you're at. But what that section indicates is that you don't actually need to do that if you are operating in your correct status as a national and you are enforcing the treaties and so on, specifically the section of the treaties. In fact, the lien works, from what he's suggesting, my own research is that the fact that you're a national, you have the status that you have, and you're enforcing the treaty, automatically implies that you have filed a UCC-1 financing statement. It is implied, and therefore it is, so the treaty itself is almost like it is you and it are the UCC financing statement in its own weird way, and so on. But you gotta like really study the treaties to be able to operate at that level, and so on. You know, and where it applies, because like, yeah. Anyway, I yield the floor.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So this is why we talked about that for the last how many weeks that we've had our classes for the semester. Why I've been showing you about treaties. When I sat down and studied the treaty, I realized so many things about it. And that's what I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you to look into these things and really study what we're talking about, because there's so much going on. And it also helps with the development of our communities. What jurisdiction do we put our businesses in? Well, I would say put it underneath the treaty. Make sure that the treaty follows it. Willie, I see your hand up.
Why are they there then?
Willie, I see your hand up. The floor is yours.
I was just here. Was somebody asking me a question earlier? The gentleman, the noble.
No, we're asking those who read the Bible to kind of quote or tell us or show us which section talks about the amalgamation. And then we had our matriarch Mo put it in the chat that it's Genesis 6, 1-4.
That talks about amalgamation.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Amalgamation?
Uh-huh.
Well, let's look it up together. You read that in the Bible, you don't know what it means? Okay, let's
I've never read about amalgamation. That's why I wanted to know what does that mean. Never heard that word in the Bible.
So that is that why what's it called? Hold on a second. Hold on one second. There's a noble that put the definition of amalgamation in the chat.
Well, it has several meaning. Which one is it? Amalgamation. Allah. You have a several meaning for this. So in what context? As a context. Let me see what the noble put. Act of compounding mercury with another metal. Known act of from archaic amalgam to alloy with mercury. The Bible doesn't say anything about this. So I wanted to hear the context in which the gentleman was asking the question. What was the point he was making? And because it doesn't speak directly about amalgamation. Nothing to do with mercury that I know of. I don't. So I see I put Genesis 6, 1-4. Let me see that word. I can barely read that. Let me see what that says on Google.
I guess it's referring more to the Nephilim.
So when human beings began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them but they choose. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. The Nephilims were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. But remember, if you, based on biblical reckoning, if you have accepted God and believe in Him, so on and so forth, you're considered a son of God. The Bible says, as many as receive Him, to them gave He power to become the sons of God. So, sons of God here in this context could mean just human beings who were, children of God, and they saw the daughters of humans were beautiful. So they it's like in those days, sons of God were supposed to just stick to like their own, but these were basically going off to intermarry with others, like other pagan nations. That's how I would understand this. I'm not saying I have it dead right, but sons of God, I don't see. I know some people is going to interpret this to mean like sons of God from heaven come to have sex with human beings. I really don't see it that way. I'm not saying it can't be, but I don't know of human interaction with heavenly beings on this earth. I don't know of any such interactions. If you get
Okay,
what I mean.
I do. I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And that's the thing, though. For a lot of years in our education and in what we know in this world, we were always taught that we're here alone.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I know that by now, Willie, that we're not here alone.
No,
It's
we're not. No, we're not.
possible for that to happen.
And the Bible doesn't say that we're here alone neither. It tells you about beings from other worlds. The Bible does speak of beings from other worlds. As a matter of fact, it says on earth we are spectacles. So it's like they are looking on, watching us what we are doing, because they are the fallen world and we are the fallen world and they are the unfallen world.
That's right.
Right.
So we're always being watched. We're always being helped on so many levels.
Of course, of course. As a matter of fact, the Bible does say that sometimes, oh my God, and I've had several experiences like that. Sometimes beings of God come in the form of an ordinary human being. They will appear out of nowhere. I remember, if I can be allowed to share, I was at a place. It's like what do you call it now? Oh, where they park these boats and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so we were there and we have never seen people have come there to fish, do everything, but we have one day my boy just bought a brand new ball and it got away in the sea, and this out of nowhere came this person in a canoe and fetched the ball. We because I was looking at my boy, I said, you're silly to be bumming the ball in front of the sea, because if it ever go over there, you're gonna lose it. And so said, so done. And out of the blues, there was somebody in a canoe and just fetch the ball, give back to him. And we have never ever seen that since then or before, right?
Yeah.
And I could go on, give you several experiences where actual people just show up. And the Bible does support it. It says, by entertaining strangers, you entertain angels unawares. So they do
Yeah.
transform in human form and come to our aid. Of course they do.
Of course we do. Of course. Many of you are here that are that. Of course we do. So we're just letting people know about the amalgamation and the combining of our DNA with other races, other entities.
Mm-hmm.
It's been one of the battles on this planet. It's now coming out in the light on, and not just out in the light, but more in detail on all levels. Because I've been watching this thing about the sex between the men and our people and other entities. And it comes to be something that's in the court systems even right now, where 600 million warrants and arrests are performed or have been performed and still continuing to perform all over the world because of just this verse right here. Talking about the daughters having sex with these different alien or other entities. They've been hiding that through movies, cartoons, you name it, news, and not making it a big thing. In the movie industry, they kind of glorify it in a way when they put out a vampire movie. Because when you put out a vampire movie, you're not thinking about no people out there drinking blood outside of this movie theater, right? When really that's happening,
Right.
you know. And we look at those kind of things as, oh, that's entertainment. I've never met a man or a woman with fangs that drank my blood. You know what I mean? Like, man in here a day has ever met any woman like that.
No, most of the time when you meet these beings, they are good beings. You see, you're so correct, because sometimes we portray the external outer world, the mysterious world, as some ugly, evil thing. No, they're usually beautiful beings. God is not a God of the ugly, He's a God of beauty. I mean, everything that God creates is beautiful, right? And so when we portray them, it's always some ugly, mysterious, evil thing. No, I don't believe in that. I believe whatever it is that God creates, it's usually very, very, admirable and beautiful. Look, I mean, look at what we can see with our naked eyes. Isn't it a beautiful world in spite of the challenges that we have here? The animals, some of the animals that we see, they're just absolutely gorgeous. The peacock, the this, the that. It's there. I mean, if you're a bird lover like me and you see some birds, the multicolored, these beautiful things that God make. But when we portray them, we want to make them look evil. It's nah. God is a God of beauty.
Ashe. Right, and with that beauty, it led to amalgamation. Some of the people on the planet, Willie, is not. They're not them. They're not who we think they are. Like, and this is including Black people. Like, when we look at each other, we say, "Oh, we're all the same." But if you do the research and really study what's going on, you'll realize that some of these Black people are not really Black people, and some of these white people are not white people. There's something different. There's something different about them. They're not from here. You know. This goes back to even when the matriarch was talking about what's it called? Somebody mentioned in the class that the Moors, it's the Moors' fault that we fell, right? And don't trust them. But it wasn't the Moors' fault. It was dirty Moors that did that. Right. And just like what you just mentioned, there's good and there's, right, in entities. And when we fell as a people on this planet, the only reason why we fell and we still continue to fall or stay at this position of falling and can't get up is because, to be honest, it's our own self. And I realized that in my studies, and it woke me up one day and I looked in the mirror. And I heard the same song Michael Jackson wrote about "Man in the Mirror" that was playing in the background, and I was like, it's like a sign that God was giving to me that, hey, this world's the only way it is because of us, right? And not because of us, meaning me or you, but we're fighting against ourselves. There's a fraction of us that look like us, but they're not us, and they're fighting against us. You know what I mean? These entities can take shape of anybody, right? Like when they say, you ever notice that they always say that Europeans or white people will always get abducted by aliens, but you never hear Black people say that they've got abducted, right? they're only keeping you in that realm thinking of that, when really some of the people are not the people. You know, we're going to leave it at there, right there, because that takes research for you to get. There's a lot of new students in our class, and they may not, get that, because it sounds like spookism, and I don't want you to feel like that. I want you all to research it, because everything that comes from the mind that you could feel, touch, see, or hear, and all this stuff, it has its origins. It has its creations. It has to come from somewhere. It does. And when you look to see where it comes from, you will see something that, like I said, I won't go into in depth. All right, so let's...
Point of interest.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to let you know it's 35 minutes to the hour, just so you're aware.
Thank you. No problem. All right. I see the last three hands up. Who was first, Governor? Mario?
Micah L. Floor is yours.
All right.
Yes, thank you again. The question that I wanted to ask as well was, as a notary, can I notarize documents for people who are not nationals? They just want their documents notarized. As an example, I've got a sister who is trying to nationalize under the Maroons, but she's saying that they're charging her one whole heap of money, and so she's wondering if I could notarize her documents for her. Would that document have authority?
Point of interest.
Yes.
Where there,
No, I was going to answer if you want me to.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
No, because I was going to say, the major, you can only notarize documents for people of your nationality. If they're not of your nationality, you cannot notarize their documents.
Okay, righto. No, that's just straightforward. And finally, I don't want to take up too much time. I do remember reading about the sons of God coming down from the Mount of God and going amongst men, and some of them barely escaped back to the mountain with their lives because it was so they got lured by the beauty of these women. And I believe Goliath was a prodigy of or a progeny of that such amalgamation as well, why he was over 7 feet tall. Yes, and the fairness of the daughters as well, which fair, when you look in the dictionary, it's not dark skin. So yeah, I yield anyway. But yes, thank you for that matriarch who posted that in there, because it brought back everything to mind of my readings in the past in any case. So I yield anyway.
So to expound on what Noble was saying about notary, notaries can actually notarize anybody's documents, to be honest. But it's, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I feel that you should only notarize nationals. And the reason why I say that is because where I live, we have, it's called, what they call themselves again? The Law
Society.
The Law Society, right? And one of the things that they have contacted me about was notarizing, because they knew that I was notarizing documents and notarizing for people that are our nationality, and I had to explain to them that I only notarize for our nationality. I know we can notarize for anybody, but me personally, I only notarize documents for people who have the nationality. And they said to me, "Oh, okay, sorry." And that was that. You know, they were looking at it as a diplomatic consulate. They're looking at us as a diplomatic consulate, a diplomatic mission. and that we have the power to notarize our nationals' documents because, of course, it's coming from our consulate. So when you're performing from that angle, yes, right? But in a whole, notaries can notarize documents as long as they are qualified to be a notary, right? I've had my documents notarized even before I opened up office or anything. The first thing I was doing was getting because we didn't have Moorish temples to notarize our stuff. So I'd go to barristers to notarize it. When I went to the barristers to notarize it, I found out a good strategy and a power that can be used, because if a barrister is notarizing your documents, that means they agree to all the things that's inside of the document. And we used to use that as ammunition to win cases, because we'd get it notarized by an attorney and file that notary, that document into case, and then bring it up in the court that, hey, you have our paperwork and we have a notary from one of your barristers that agrees that everything in this document is the truth. Case is dismissed. So we used to use that strategy. And then I remember one time, because we had like a couple of like lawyers that we were working with, attorneys, and one of them was like a direct friend of mine from school, and he became an attorney. And one day I was walking into his office to talk to him about some stuff, and the whole atmosphere felt funny. He wouldn't let me in. The secretary wouldn't let me in. I had to wait for a minute, and I know his schedule. And then we walk into the office. And when I walked into the office, he told me that the Law Society contacted him also. And they threatened him that if he was to notarize any of our documents or any Moorish documents, that he would lose his bar association, his membership. So to answer your question, Noble, it's a yes and a no. It's a yes and a no. All right. Karen, I see your hand up. The floor is yours.
Hi, good evening. No, the question was, I don't have any examples non-biblical. Someone was asking me that. But the question was how to continue, what to do to register your business, what that process is. Thanks. I yield the floor.
Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, I thought there was a hand up left. No, Mo's down. All right. All right, let's get into it then. The reason why we had this semester and we changed up the curriculum for this particular semester is because I seen what's coming in this world right now. What's coming in this world right now and already happening is a lot of the countries around the world are turning to third world country statuses. 1807. You have your hand up? Go ahead. The floor is yours. You have a question, a statement?
Grand Rising Nobles. This is reverting back to the exemption for members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps. Is a bulletin put out by the Ministry of Finance and Tax Bulletin in Canada. And it states that the Carbon Tax Act, Motor Vehicle Fuel Tax Act, the Provincial Sales Tax Act, and the Tobacco Sales Act. And this bulletin provides information to help members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps understand how to claim an exemption from BC's carbon tax, motor fuel tax, municipal and regional district taxes, provincial sales taxes, PST, and tobacco taxes. And the bulletin also provides information for businesses on how to document exempt sales to members of the diplomatic and consular corps. Certain members of the diplomatic and consular corps are eligible for exemption from carbon taxes, motor fuel taxes, EST, and etc. You qualify for the exemption from these taxes if you are a diplomatic agent of a diplomatic mission situated in Canada and you are a citizen of the country operating the diplomatic mission. A member of the administrative and technical staff of the diplomatic mission situated in Canada, and you are a citizen of the country operating the diplomatic mission. It further states, and I don't want to take too much of the time, but states that the identity cards, the government of Canada issues diplomatic or consular identity cards. The identity cards are plasterized wallets cards with the information noted below, and it gives the description of the requirement. Now, where I am at the crossroads is with the diplomatic members, which it seems that they have different categories for different type of diplomatic applications. I further investigating on the other diplomatic exemptions, and will further report at or other meeting what I have found. Thank you. I stand down.
Ashe. Excellent, 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 excellent work, Noble.
Thank you.
All right. And the more you go in, the more you're going to see exemptions for a lot more other things too. All right. Continue to study, continue to keep digging. Excellent, 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 excellent. Wow. Okay. These are the things that I've been reading about. And I said, you know, we really need to structure ourselves. And this is why we've been calling for the help. And Noble here has definitely demonstrated that. All right. Thank you for that, Noble. All right. That's why. Wow. Woo. Mo, I see your hand up. The floor is yours.
Noble,
you can put that in the chat. Noble, please put that in the chat. Sorry about that, Mo. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Greetings, Noble. Cam, I have two questions. One is in regards to what that matriarch said, like where do you register a business? And my second question is, you know, as Moors, because, you know, we don't want to be in their jurisdiction, right? For example, we do our UCC1s in their system so that we can lien, right? So is there a way we can systematically not, you know, use their, I guess, their paperwork in their system so that we can register these things? So it's two questions.
All right. The first question, I was just about to talk about the process, and then the Noble was giving you more information about the exemptions in Canada. I will continue that momentarily. The second question was, what was the second question?
The second question was that, okay, a lot of the stuff that we do, like we're saying that we don't want to be a part of their jurisdiction, but we're using their systems and their files. Like, for example, like when you're doing a lien, we use their system to do it. We file it with their paperwork in their filing system. So what I was saying is there a way effective way, for our people to not, use their system? Because isn't it like we're putting ourselves back in their jurisdiction by doing that?
No, they're de facto. And one of the things that you can do, well, there's a couple of things you can do. One of them is that I don't know if I can show it to you because we I don't know if I can show it right now because I'd have to get confirmation from the national who actually did it. What we did was we took the UCC filing financial statement and we turned it red, the whole statement. Named it, put a claim on it, put a lien on it itself, and then have that in the declaration. All right. In this world, because they've been doing law de facto, it doesn't mean that it's not ours. The UCC's is ancient. It's just when they took over on us, the barristers kind of created their own version of it, and that's what we're using today. But if you do the history on the Uniform Commercial Codes, or I should say the Universal Commercial Codes, you'll realize that it's ancient. It's been ours from a long time ago. Like, put it this way, in layman's terms, they haven't invented nothing. All they did was steal it and patent it and then do it for themselves. It's no different if you drop a gun. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand that, but where I'm coming from is, okay, you see, like you just mentioned that you changed the format, you put it red, and you leaned it and so on. There is still a system that we put that file in, and that's the system that they use. So
No,
what I was doing,
I'm not finished though. That's the thing. Let me finish then. So after you do that, then you remember the administrative process where we put something into the public for 14 plus days?
in the public, public notice.
You give them a public notice and declaration. A declaration and a public notice at the same time, put it in public, pick any of your public forums that you want to put it on, whether it's newspaper or the online. A lot of the nationals will use Scribit. Go to Scribit. If you go to Scribit, you see all these proclamations from nationals because they understand that without their system, we can do it without that. You could even mail it to yourself the old way, like we used to do with music and lyrics. I think we still do it. I still do it. When it comes to copyrights to lyrics or documents, you'd mail it to yourself and don't open it. These are different ways that I'm mentioning right now, if you get what I'm saying. Okay. Like I said, one of the number one ways that we've always put things on public was through Scribit, newspaper, or through any medium that you choose for 14 plus days, and you do a reference to it. So let's say, so how do they look for it? Well, whoever's interested in that lien, you show them where you filed it, not filed, but put out into the public what forum it's on, and they can go look at it and check for it, and they'll see that you followed the principles of the 14 days. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. It makes sense, like what you're saying, but where for me it doesn't make sense is that, okay, after you put it in public, they can go back, whosoever, can go and reference it. But how do you know that it is solid? Like, for example, like if you're trying to lean your straw man, right?
Yeah.
And you do this process that you just said, how can you make sure that it's valid? Like, for example, like if you want to, like you say you go to the court, and how can you, like, how can you validate that it is, valid?
It is valid because someone has to rebut it. If it's not rebutted, it stands as law. That's the rules. Let me give you an example. You see, let's say we're using a UCC one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And selling it at one of their offices of UCC. Did you know that their only job is to report or to have it on the record? They're only record keepers. That's all it is. You're looking for people who keep records, whether it's an attorney, whether it's a consulate, a temple. You're looking for places to put things on record, and you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, the record of deeds.
Yeah, you can go to CM Bay and even Noble Drew Ali, from what I understand, was even using the Library of Congress to file a lot of their stuff. Because that's where I found a lot of this information is in the Library of Congress under congressional records. Right? House Joint Resolutions. Those are all congressional records. So it's the principle of it being in public and doing the references to where they can find it. Right? Like if you were to ask me, where can I get some Moorish stuff and information about the Moors and the nationalities and all, I'll send you to the Library of Congress. You'd go there and pick out what you want and download whatever they can give to you, or if they can mail it to you. Sometimes they mail you the hard copies, then you get them, So it's all about the principle of where you put it out, right? Because is CM Bay wrong for using the Library of Congress? Is Noble Drew Ali and all them who used it to file the all-audio title that happened in 1928, Guatemala, Cuba, the conference? Right? All of these had to be filed somewhere. It's not giving back the jurisdiction. A lot of it is about notice and the rebuttal. You're always looking for if there's a rebuttal. If there's no rebuttal in law, it stands as law. Right?
I have a question. Is there I know there is it's always said that if there's no rebuttal, it stands as law. Is there a law or something that states that, or is that just something I know if it's not rebuttal, but is there I don't know.
You have to study contract law. In contract law, because everything around us is contracts. The treaties, constitutions, all contracts. In contract law, that's where you'll find that. David P., I see your hand up. You want to expound or something? Go ahead, the floor is yours.
Just a reference. There's a link in the chat that I just posted. It includes maxim number 5 of the commercial maxims, which says that a unrebutted affidavit stands as truth or law, right? So, and it has all 10 of the maxims and so on. And also to remind them that the whole civil orders thing, those documents were posted on Anna Von Ritz's website and so on, which is considered public notice, right? For whatever the days, and she held it up, and I think for the July publication, they indicated that they had it up on the public record for 55 days and it was unrebutted, so it stands as law.
That's right.
And she just posted it on a website, but her website is considered public notice, and a number of nobles have that. I think there's a Moorish National Public Records website for certain Moorish nations, etc., that use public records. RV Publications is also public record, because a lot of the notices and so on that you put there is coming as public record. As long as they can find it, Facebook, Instagram, Scribd, you can put it in a newspaper. Most jurisdictions have an official gazette as well, where government things. I think in the old times, it is stated in when they did the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. I can't remember which congressional record it is. The United States put it in the newspaper because they said, in fact, in the treaty, it said, they said, hey, look, in the discussion, they say we have to put this in the newspaper to let the other people in the state and the country know that we are now under this agreement with the Moorish Empire. And you put it in the notice and you run it for 14 days or 28 days or whatever it is, or 4 weeks. And if it's unrebutted in that period of time, it stands as law or stands as truth. Because it's a commercial. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship is a trust, and it's also a commercial contract. And as long as it's not rebutted, point for point, it stands as law.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, so just wanted to help on that level. I yield the floor.
Okay, thank you, Noble Cam. I'll understand. If you have time, can you go over the where you can register?
I'm about to do that right now.
Thank you so much. I yield.
All right, back to what I was saying. Oh, if you look in the chat, thank you, me or Micah. I think it's Micah. If you put up the registration of stock, right, and the practice of it, it's pretty much the same as what me and David are talking about. All right. I'm glad that Mo brought that up, because as nationals and ones who are exercising civics, you see, when you nationalize, you're not the minority no more. You are the majority, and majority it doesn't mean in numbers. It means that you are allowed to practice civil law and enjoy and manage your own. We haven't been managing our own. And when we come as Black people, we are classified, or we're saying that our status is minority. For years and years and years and generations after generations, we didn't know that and understand in commercial law that there's jurisdiction in commercial law. Contracts, treaties, conventions, constitutions, all of them are contracts. The Bible, the Quran, all of them are contracts. Some of them have expiry dates. And this is why we're having this class in this semester, because I needed to see that we truly understand what's going on, even in real time right now, that we have to have our businesses, put them together, put them properly in the right jurisdiction, so whatever happens in the country that you're living in doesn't fall on your laps. It doesn't fall on your laps. Anything that's connected to Britain in registration, whether it's a business, house, cars, whatever you have, is going to be taken from you. And it's the same thing with the United States, Canada, and even the islands. Anywhere that they've colonized. Why are they doing that? Well, it's called reset. And when we looked up the word reset and resetter in law, it's telling you that they're criminals and that they have to take it from you. They have to liquidate their assets. And if your company is in their registration, they get to liquidate their assets. And don't be surprised if they start liquidating your business because you're registered underneath them. Everything that we own, that we claim to own, whether it's your children, whether it's your home, your cars, doesn't matter. We keep registering it in their jurisdiction. If you look in the chat, Noble Mario Bay put up the definition of reset. And he also gave you the definition of resetter, what they're doing right now. And this is going on right now. In the future, you're going to hear about people losing their homes because it was in the wrong jurisdiction. You're going to hear about people losing their vehicles because it's in the wrong jurisdiction. Right now, they have a thing called a debt relief where they're trying to trick the people into debt relief programs and contracts so they can also still steal your stuff in that fashion. I've already read some of the Canadian law that talks about if you were to get a debt relief program from them, that they get to own all of your properties forever. And I'm not exaggerating on the word forever because it really does say forever. This class, this semester is totally different from all of our other semesters. In our other semesters, we never talked about putting the business together and how to register it properly without jurisdiction coming in to take taxes from you. We're supposed to be doing 3 to 4 months to show you and understand everything. So I hope everybody has the notes that we've been talking about every weekend. Those notes are going to help you with this part right now. To register your business, all you need to do is look at the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, because we gave it to you, the answer already. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship is much more than just words. It's already made contract. And look at your business. When you look at your business and the way your business is formed, whether you need like products from other countries to be imported, exported, look at the Treaty of Peace and Friendship and associate your business with the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. You can also use other treaties that we have. If you look up in Britain, the Moors have a treaty with Britain also. Associate your business with it. Put it in writing, called a proclamation. And the header would be called proclamation. Make it in bold, make it good, make it bright. Put your flags at the top that represent your signal. So if you have the flag of Venus, or Moorish flag, I should say, of our empire, with the star, green Venus star, with a red dominant background, or the pyramid that you see me speaking from, the great seal of the Moorish nation that you see me speaking from, on the top of your pages. The first page would be called a proclamation. And what you're doing is, point for point, you're proclaiming, and it doesn't necessarily have to be point for point, but in a proclamation, you're claiming the business and what it does. What's its services? When you're proclaiming it under the Treaty of Peace and Friendship and any other treaty that you desire to find that is associated with where you are. If you're in Britain, look up the treaty with the Moors for Britain. If you're in the islands, look up get all of them. The US and the one for the Britain. Look them all up if you need to. Let it fit your business. Especially if you have a business that has to deal with import and exporting. You'll find that the treaty protects you in so many ways. And it connects you to diplomatic missions and the protocols that go all along with that, where you can actually import things and export things. It's called the diplomatic bag. Diplomatic bag. I want you to look up diplomatic bag. And see the privileges wrapped around that when it comes to import and exporting. It's already set. It just needs your green light to go. In the proclamation, you claim the treaty, you claim the Constitution, claim the Zodiac Constitution. The reason why is because you may do things on different seasons than other nations. And you're allowed to do it whenever you need to. You're allowed to move around when you need to. And you so happen to follow Saba, which is the constellation, Zodiac, and who you are as a Zodiac also. You can add the Quran. You can add the Bible. Okay, be careful with some of them, but do your research. Okay, diplomatic bag, yes. Diplomatic bag. Right? When you associate the business with the Constitution and the treaties, especially the treaties, create your own number for it. You can create a CPN. A CPN is a credit private number. Until our Moors, our nationals truly wake up in mass, because that's what we're waiting for, to be honest, is that we haven't woke up in masses yet. Then we're still dealing with this credit system. So you might as well go get a CPN and get going. Can't be held back. CPN is exactly what your business number would be. Like if you were to register a business in Canada, for an example, they would give you what is called a master license. And on that master license would be a CUSIP number. That would be a CPN. CPN stands for credit private number. So you can build up credit. Okay, so you can build up credit with that business. If you already have credit with your business right now, I'm going to teach a class on how to transfer the credit over into your CPN. I'll give you detail for detail on how to transfer that credit over into your CPN so you can continue using CPN, and then you can shut off that estate number or claim it. Claim it. Claim it and control it. Once you've done that, you've created a proclamation, you're going to get the proclamation notarized. If you're a national and you nationalize the business, it should really be notarized by a consulate or one who is knowledgeable in law, competent in law, and a national to notarize your documents. If you get notary from Europeans, it can help as a strategy because that they're saying that they agree with the document and it's full. Its whole thing is the truth and nothing but the truth. Then create a declaration. And it will be titled Declaration. Declaring the business. And it shouldn't be too long. The proclamation could be long as what you want it to make. It could be 20 pages. It could be 100 pages. It's up to you. The declaration doesn't need to be more than 2 pages. Honestly, I can do a declaration for a business in 1 page. Title it Declaration. Put all the information or cut it down. Cut all the information down into a quick story of your proclamation or what's contained inside the proclamation, I should say. You don't want to go into whole details. They want to see the proclamation, then they have to request that to you. If they want to see the proclamation in its entirety, or get a judge's order because you're moving private. Because you're moving private in status of private, they would have to get a judge's order to see your documents in its entirety. That's right, Micah. Some of them want to see the whole document and want to read everything. So be careful, all right, with notary of the barristers. The declaration is just short words about what the business is, and you're just declaring it. I declare it, I so-and-so, Noble so-and-so, declare that this business of so-and-so and so-and-so is under the nationality of American citizenship. When you nationalize, you will hear that we're Moorish Americans, which is true. In law, you are the American citizens. The American citizens all over the world. And it's not made up because it's there. It's not under Africa. It's not under Africans, not under Caribbeans. American citizen. In the motu proprio, the final judgment that came out in 2014, the Pope and Anna von Reitzinger talked about the American citizens and everything coming back to us. I'm going to turn your attention to your screens because I want to show you that part. And this is 100% why you need to have your declaration ready and put out your proclamation done and all your business affairs associated with the treaties. Once you have the declaration that's finished, if you feel like notarizing it, go ahead, feel free to do so. You don't really have to, but if you feel like you want to, go ahead. Put it out on one of those forums that David and other members were talking about today that deals with the public forum. Right? Put it out there for 14 days. And the same principle follows. After 14 days, one of the maxims in law is that after 14 days, an affidavit that's unrebutted stands as law. Does everybody get that? That's the power of it. Right? And the Noble mentioned that you can even put that on Moorish publications that are already out. There's many websites that does that. do your references and where it's referred to, where people can find it, and that would also be in the declaration when one is reading it. You'd only send that declaration out to any individuals or entities that are interested, or you're an interest, you have interest in something for yourself. All right. Those are the steps. A, B, C. Right? A, have a proclamation done that's associated with the treaty, the treaties. B, have that, have the proclamation notarized. Then go to B, have a declaration. Put the declaration out. You can also create a notice and give those out too. A notice along with the declaration. As creditors, you'd keep record of all of these things happening. When you're sending out documents, especially if you're using the registry of the post office or UPU, the Universal Postal Union, keep documentations and all transcripts, receipts, and everything for your record, because you have to do the same thing too. They hold record, you hold record. Anybody have any questions at this time? David P., I see your hand up. The floor is yours.
Right. Point of interest. Just wanted to follow up. I think last year you had mentioned also that you could also file the document at whatever your corporate affairs. I think like in the UK that's called company house. So I think at the time you were saying that you would send, say, the document via registered mail to them, and so that they would then file it as part of their records.
That's right. I'm glad you brought that up. You see, also a place that you'd want to file it or send a notice to and the declaration to is the global affairs in your country. Each country has a global affairs.
That would global affairs, or you mean foreign affairs?
They have foreign affairs and they have global affairs. In Canada, okay, we have the global affairs, and they deal with all of the international or diplomatic statuses on the planet.
Okay, so you would take a declaration, send it via registered mail to their foreign affairs, to their with the title like notice of principal is notice to agent, notice to agent is notice to principal. And then you would also send it via registered mail to whatever government corporation that is responsible for registering companies. And for your own, if there's no national in your location, you can also send via registered mail the declaration back to yourself, so that the post office, and you don't open it, so that the post office now acts as a witness as well to the document.
Many strategies.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people who already have businesses, where you're taking it out of their system, this makes sense. But for people who are now creating businesses, if you wanted to have a bank account, usually when you go to sign up at a bank, they usually ask for the corporate number that your company is registered with. So then then I could see why filing it in their system, you're now putting everybody on notice that the CPN number that you created is valid, right? Since they wouldn't have sent it back or rebutted it. And then you can then use that CPN number at the bank to open your account. That is the idea?
That's the idea. Because the CPN number acts exactly like your national number.
Okay.
It's just called CPN. That's all it is. You have a public number, and the CPN is private.
Right.
That's the only difference.
All right. Okay. I think I get it. I get it now. So you just this with respect to the CPN, you say you can make it up, or would you recommend getting the QSIP number from that QSIP website you had recommended some time ago?
You can if you know the mathematics, because some countries deal with it on a mathematical equation type of thing when you create them. Like for an example, in Canada, they deal with the 900 series. You get what I mean? So you know how to create them through the 900 series and understand the algorithm that creates those things, then you'll be able to create it in like a second. Go to the it's called the Verifier, CPN Verifier website.
Okay, this is in Canada territory, or this is in general?
In general, anywhere. I'm just saying that if you were like in Canada, then you'd go after the 900 series, right? Okay. You're in Barbados, you have to look at what series does Barbados take.
Okay.
You do the algorithm for it and create one, right? Mm-hmm. You could, a lot of it's funny as I'm saying this, a lot of Nigerians know they do this daily. It's what they do all the time, you know, but they don't know that they don't know the corrector status. So, you know, so it's something that's done. If you have to buy a CPN, then there's a most chance that I believe that they're probably robbing you. You shouldn't have to pay for a CPN.
Okay. All right. No problem. No, I was just checking because I know this jurisdiction, what they started to do recently is implement what they call TANs, tax identification numbers. Yeah. And they've attached that every citizen gets a tax identification number, but also every corporation also gets a tax identification number. And I'm not sure. I know the citizen identification numbers begin with 1, but I'm not sure what the corporate or company person identification numbers at this jurisdiction. I'm not sure what number they begin with, or if it's a different number. But I've had an interesting thing happen to me recently where I had obtained a TIN here because I had to get it because I was doing something with my company and I had to sign up to continue that process at the bank. I had to sign up for a TIN. But the thing about it though is that because the company itself didn't have its own TIN, so my TIN got associated with the company, right? So my TIN and the company's TIN are effectively the same because of the location of the company, so to speak. So it's weird. So I think at some point in time, the company needs to get its own TIN so I can get mine separated from it, and so on. So I suspect that the series numbers are the same for persons as in citizens and persons as in corporations at this jurisdiction. I suspect so, but I am not 100% sure. I have to do more research.
Well, you're going to realize, especially in the near future, very near future, that none of them, a lot of the countries have claimed bankrupt. So even the numbers that they have, they're no good. That they have, right? So what a lot of us have been doing, and you can check out Light Sijuri Bay. She talks about it a lot, is taking the copyrights, creating copyrights to those numbers, right? Creating copyrights to those numbers and putting them into your trust. Leaning the copyrights and turning those patents into red. You'd be using, this is where the red comes in. And you would turn it in red and make a claim on it. Does everybody understand the concept of the red? It's not even a concept. It's actually, it's part of the law of commercial law. Turning the document into red. And when you're doing that, you're making a patent. You're creating the patent, making a claim. Right? As nationals, when you're dealing with, especially in commerce, and one of the things we haven't been doing in a long time is talking in red. Red signifies and represents the people of the land. When you're talking from red. When you have blue in your documents, and you're going to see, in, like I said, in a very short time, that you're going to need to start transforming and get to understand the red and the blue and what black writing is all about. When you see black writing so much all the time that you're so used to the dead language and the dead writing, because black is dead. Has nothing to do with pigment at all. So please, if you're new to the class, I'm not here saying that black people are dead. So don't think that. But we're talking in law. Black is a status. White is a status. Red is a status. Blue. You're so used to, and when I say you, I'm talking plural and including myself. We were so used to reading documents in black, not realizing that the dead is talking to you. And that if it was somebody living that's talking to you, the document would be in red. They put it in black because black and blue are kind of associated with each other. If you do your studies, you find out that black is blue. But anyway, we're not going to go that way today.
Point of interest.
Yes, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yeah, just giving you another side note. It's 23 minutes past the hour. I don't know how much longer you want to go. If you finished on the registering of the business part for the nobles.
I am. So in a nutshell, then, that is how you do it. I'll do a recap next week. So you'll get a recap of what we're talking about. And then I'll actually show you one physically so you can visually see one. Okay, you can visually see a declaration for a business. So you can visually see a proclamation for a business. All right. So we'll do that next week. I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you all for coming to our class. I hope you enjoyed, and took as much notes as you can. Please invite people if you need to, because we need to have our communities put together right now, and getting them together right now is very important because of what's coming down the pipes when it comes to electricity being shut out, the grids being closed off, food shortages. I just got back from Ottawa, and it doesn't look pretty out there. All right, so I know that the corporations are truly dissolving, right? But we don't need to dissolve. We need to just get better and get sharper and get stronger. So peace and love to you all. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day today and an enjoyable weekend. Be magical this week. We'll talk again. Bye-bye for now. Peace and love, everybody.